It has revolutionized the art of rig moving. In fact, as far as technology goes in the oil rig moving game, it could be the most innovative piece of equipment in the last 20 years.
The rock trucks are a pretty neat truck.
Yes, the rock truck. And the fleet of rock trucks employed by Fast Trucking boldly goes where no other truck has gone. It can get onto a lease faster than any other trucks. Its articulating steering enables these specialized trucks to get through the tightest and muddiest leases imaginable.
They're the ones that go in when it's really muddy.
In short, it gives Fast Trucking the edge over the competition because it can move a rig and all of its buildings off a lease other companies can't get to.
They're articulating steering. You can pick up a pump, water tank, anything off the rig when you're sitting in 3-4 feet of mud, and you can still maneuver the same thing as a bed truck on dry ground.
There'll be a lot of days you wouldn't move a rig without one of them, right? We've hauled those rock trucks. There'll be 6 buildings left to put in and the lease road will give out. And they could finish with the other trucks, but it would take 6 hours. We've hauled them up to Stoughton. You know, it takes 6 hours to haul it, but they've spot the 6 buildings in an hour where the other guys might not even got them spotted, right? And then they need cats and they're trying to winch and pull, and it's, you know.
We talked about the specialized steering these rock trucks have. Basically, they're an articulating commander truck. So in layman terms, that means this. The front end can move while the back end remains stationary.
The bed is, you know, one side and it articulates on the front side, so the cab's like this, right? So it turns like this, it moves the bed this way and that way.
This allows the truck to get into far tighter spaces, such as found on smaller leases.
Just by setting in your buildings, if you're going to move your front or your back building over 6 inches, all you have to do is move the steering 2 inches. They're actually quite a neat truck.
At a cost of roughly $1 million a piece, they aren't cheap or easy to come by. Fast has 4 in their fleet. You're watching Miss Kitty in action on this video. As you can see, this cat stops at nothing.
Well, they're faster, they're safer, they're easier. Like a normal truck, you know, you try backing in and the mud's that deep, you can't steer and you can't get straight with the wheel. Those things, they're all-wheel drive, so they can steer and you can twist your truck and the front steers, so, you know, if your front don't steer, it'll just follow a track, but if it's turning, it'll spin to what side you want to go to.
Miss Kitty features the world's largest braided winch, making pulling the big loads much easier. Originally, the rock trucks were a dump truck, but they were converted by cutting off the bucket. It was then lengthened by 20 feet with all new rear ends put into it, a unique design for a unique industry of moving oil rigs in bad weather.
The rock trucks, that's where they rule. You get them in that heavy mud, that 90,000-pound pump on the back, and you know they can get in 4 feet deep through that soft stuff and wallow it in the corner and get it out of the way. Where the tractors they're fighting to get it half on the lease, and you know if they get rid of it, they got to get rid of it. You know, it's bed truck. You get narrow tires. And they pick that same building up, they just sink out of sight, they're at the roll, and you end up fighting for 3 hours trying to get fishing back out from underneath it. So that rock truck and the big pickers, small mats, you know, you can sit a half a mile, it seems like, away from where you gotta be. You can just kind of half-assed it, get in, and you're still doing it properly if you rig up right, and it takes half the time.
I enjoy hauling them. I haul them out to the rig moves, and the guys take them off. We load them and unload them all the time, and they're actually pretty neat to watch.
The rock truck, giving Fast Trucking an edge in the game of moving oil rigs.